Hi guys, when the UK voted to leave the EU back in 2016, Brussels put a plan in motion to prepare its member states for that exit. Countries like Ireland, France and the Netherlands, which of course deal most with the UK, began putting in place strategies to deal with Brexit. This included building extra infrastructure and hiring more staff. The Tories, on the other hand, did pretty much nothing for two reasons. They didn't like spending public money on stuff that didn't help their friends and donors, but also because they kept telling the public that there would be little or no disruption post-Brexit. Remember the line, "The EU needs us more than we need the EU." The Brexiteers in government kept telling people there's no need to spend money on Brexit because Brexit would deliver dividends for the UK. This meant that when GB eventually did leave the single market, ports like Dover were ill-prepared, and there was a last-minute scramble to put in place measures. But major problems still exist today, and they're putting agriculture and public health at serious risk.
The situation at the moment is some of these lorries will be told to go to Sevington.
Yep.
Do you think they're all turning up there?
No, they're not. There are no controls between Dover and Sevington. It's the same as arriving at an airport and not having your bags checked, being asked to have them checked 22 miles away. If you don't turn up there, you're never going to get a call, and actually you can disappear.
Another part of the problem, she says, is something called Timed Out Decision Contingency Feature, or TODCOF, which allows goods being brought into the country to auto-clear the border without physical checks.
There had been a focus on preventing queues at the border over and above to keep the bad stuff out. Not having systems that were effective to enable us to identify those foodstuffs that might be illegal or banned is in effect an illegal meat highway.
When Lucy's team carried out spot checks, this is where she says they've seen evidence of criminals taking advantage of the system and bringing meat that's banned or hasn't had proper control checks into the country illegally.
Pulling vehicles over, it's from those vehicles that we are finding these huge and increasing volumes of illegal meat that is heading for our high streets. Now, if we hadn't stopped that, there is nothing to stop that being offloaded en route to Sevington.
In the first week of this year, Lucy's team seized 10 tonnes of illegal meat, compared to just 400 kilograms in the first week of 2023.
And there we have it. So, once again, the Tories decide what we're going to do is we're going to lie to the public about Brexit, say that don't worry, everything is okay, everything will be all right on the night. Michael Gove promised to hire 50,000 customs officers. Well, they were not hired. Ports like Dover have had to, because they can't take all of these trucks, have had to rely on checks being carried out inland. And as was pointed out in this report, well, that's not working. Now, where are the farmers? We saw farmers protest over inheritance tax. The importation of this type of product, these products, runs the risk of damaging UK agriculture and public health. For example, pathogens can be brought in, and there are no checks or insufficient checks are being carried out. Why are farmers not protesting about that? Because something could come in and completely decimate agriculture. But instead they're protesting about inheritance tax. Where is the government complaining about the Conservatives not investing enough in the last number of years in the infrastructure necessary to protect public health? You know, this is once again, if something comes in, it could potentially damage public health in a serious way. People ending up in hospital because of eating contaminated meat or other types of products. Once again, because the checks have not been carried out. Why have the checks not been carried out? Because the Tories refused to face reality. The reality of being outside the single market. Once again, remember the line. The EU need us more than we need the EU. Everything will be okay. There's no need to invest in infrastructure. The UK will be fine. The EU is not going to impose restrictions on us. The people, once again, were interviewed The likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg, Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, completely unchallenged by the media. We've heard the experts in the run-up to Brexit and after say it will be a disaster. If we leave the single market, we're going to have to impose these checks ourselves. We're going to have to carry out all the work that the European Union used to spread around the EU. And at the same time, as I said at the beginning, the European Union was planning for the worst case scenario under Brexit. And the Tories were doing absolutely nothing. So this is a risk to agriculture and it's a risk to public health. And I think the government should actually come out now and say this and be honest with the public and point the finger at the Brexiteers, the likes of Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg and others, because they were responsible. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.